Hey everyone, Maestro here. I am the football enthusiast. I hope you all are well. So we got a big one. It's a real big one. Broken in by Fabrizio Romano. Some hectic news that has taken Twitter by storm. Reported as such, Messi will, you can see it in front of your screen, Messi will leave Paris Saint-Germain at the end of the season. Apparently, around 1 month ago, Messi's father and agent, George Messi, made it very clear to PSG that Messi plans to leave. And this was communicated by, just to clarify, 1 month ago, which is actually very surprising. 1 month ago? Wow. And supposedly he is leaving because he is not convinced with the project of PSG, the project of winning the Champions League, major trophies, etc. He is not happy with the project and he wants to go for that reason, supposedly. Now, yeah, this is a big one. It's a big one, and it's coming really soon. I did not expect this news to come that soon. I'm not surprised that he's leaving. I'm just surprised that it's been broken so soon. But I guess I'm not surprised as I should be, because if you don't know, other news has been broken from this whole Messi PSG saga. So 24 hours ago, RMC Sport, who are a French sports journalistic company, reported that Messi has been suspended by PSG for 2 weeks without pay, training, or games because he went to Saudi Arabia on Monday without telling the club, or without their approval, blah blah whatever. That's why he got suspended. So that's crazy in itself. What the hell's going on there? But we then got a response from Messi's camp, reported by Fabrizio Romano, saying that Messi and his camp already told PSG about this trip a while ago. They made it very, very clear that on Monday he was going to Saudi Arabia, and on that Monday was a free day. There was nothing on Monday. He was off on those days. He was off. He was meant to be off on Monday and Tuesday and maybe Wednesday. He was off. That's why he planned that trip for that time. But when Messi was already on the trip on that Monday, he was then told that PSG's plans have changed and they now have a training session on Monday, the day that he left. They told him this the day he left, the day he was already on his trip. That's what Messi's camp is telling us. And we also heard that Messi, you can see down here, over here, Messi had already changed his plans twice to respect PSG in the last few months. And in this case, he communicated to PSG. But when he was, this says, like I said before, he was already on the flight, and it was impossible for Leo to change the plans. He had already changed his plans twice to fit PSG's schedule. So, yeah, and it says that down here below, he's always been a great professional. He's never created any kind of problem, blah, blah. So, it's a he said, she said. But yeah, I think because of this whole drama, that's why we are now hearing about Messi leaving now. Now, in terms of what I think about this whole suspension, I don't care. It's old news now, I guess. We have such bigger news to deal with. It's silly. They shouldn't suspend him. He clearly told you about about his trip, and also I think maybe there's some sort of feelings there between Qatar and Saudi, because if you don't know, PSG are a Qatari-owned club, and being from the Middle East myself, I am very much aware of the relationship there between Qatar and Saudi, and there's just a lot of hate there. So maybe that might have something to do with this as well. But yeah, like I said, I just don't care. I don't want to give this my time. I was actually planning to make a video about it because, it's a video to make. But we've got a much bigger thing to talk about. So yes, he's leaving. He's leaving, apparently. That's what he's saying. But I'm actually not fully convinced. Look. If I were to say the chances of him leaving, I would say it's more in favor of him leaving, yes. But I would not be completely surprised if he stays. Here's why. Mbappe wanted to leave. Mbappe was gone. Remember last season? He was gone. We were all convinced he was a Real Madrid player. All of us. It made sense. PSG weren't looking that well. This dream club, apparently. They'd make a lot of money. It looked for sure. And just the reports were telling us he's going to Real Madrid. And then bang, a U-turn. He's staying at PSG, makes a lot of money. He owns half of France now. That's actually not true. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if he owns half of France, but I imagine he owns quite a bit. So it could happen with Messi too. Maybe he because the reason he's leaving is, it says because of the project. He's not convinced of the project. Well, maybe he might be. Maybe as he comes back to PSG after his dumbass suspension, he might see something, some sort of glimmer of hope that might allow him to stay. Another reason was maybe because the options out there aren't that great. Now let's talk about the options there. Now, what are the options if he does leave? There's one screaming in my face and in your face and in everyone's face right now. You've probably been shouting this since the start. Barcelona. Yes, Barcelona is of course an option. The way his time there ended was so. Yeah, it sucked. I mean, he's Lionel Messi. He is Barcelona, and essentially he left when he didn't want to leave. So that sucked. That really sucked. So yes, and of course the fans love him. They've been chanting his name recently every game. So they want to see him back there. Laporta has spoken about wanting to see him back at Barcelona. Xavi has spoken about wanting to see him back at Barcelona. And the fans, of course, love to see him back at Barcelona. And I'm sure Messi would love to be back at Barcelona because it's Barcelona. But here's the thing, there are financial issues there. We've heard a lot about how financially it might not be feasible for Barcelona. And also, there's a gentleman named, and I'm probably butchering his name. His name is Javier Tebas. Javiertebas. Javier Tebas. I'm probably saying that wrong, but yes, he is the president of La Liga. This man is he's a kook. I don't know what kook is, but it seems fake. He seemingly gets in the way of a lot of Barcelona financial stuff, and there is a chance he might get in the way of this Messi thing too. He might intervene as he has in the past and kind of not allow Barcelona to pull off such a transfer that will maybe in their eyes break the rules, but in actuality isn't really breaking the rules. But look, it's just a whole. I don't want to talk about the whole Javier Tebas situation. You guys should read about it. It's insane. It's a crazy story. But yeah, look, there are walls to go past to go back to Barcelona. It seems like a perfect fit, and it is because it's Barcelona, but it's the real world. There are certain obstacles that will need to be overcome, and it's going to be tough financially. But it is where, most of us want to see him go. Now, other options. It was actually reported by L'Equipe very recently that there is one that expect other European clubs to come into this race very soon. That's what they said. They said expect another club to come in and go for Lionel Messi. Now, who that club could be? I mean, the one that Messi's been linked to for like 10 years now is Man City. Well, ever since Pep joined City, Messi has been linked to City every single year. Not every single year, but almost every single year. He's always been linked to City because, well, it's Pep. Pep, Messi, Messi, Pep. Pep loves Messi, Messi loves Pep. They love each other, they have so much respect for each other. And seeing them reunite would be a sight to see. It would be beautiful football. Other options, there's two other options that I'm sure you guys have been talking about as well, screaming at the screen. Saudi and the US. In fact, it was recently reported by Telefootball that Saudi Arabia are coming in with a $400 million a year offer. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Saudi and the US offer. One thing has been very, very consistent in the reports of Messi and him on the transfer market. One thing has been consistent for years, for like 2 years now. And what the consistent thing is that Messi wants to stay in Europe. We always hear that Messi wants to play in Europe. Messi wants to stay in Europe. Messi still feels like he can win the Champions League. Messi wants to win another Champions League. Messi wants to stay in Europe. We hear this all the time in all of these reports in the last 2 years when it comes to Messi and the transfer market. You can make all these theories of where he's going, but one thing that's very clear is he wants to stay in Europe. And I believe that. And he should. He just gave us one of the most insane World Cup performances. And contrast to what people think, he is a fantastic player and one of the best players in the world still, if not one or two best players in the world. I feel dead set on that, by the way. So he's still a high quality player, and to go to Saudi and or the US is just, I feel like, a waste. You can win another major trophy, Messi. You can win more, and going to Saudi and US, I think, yeah, it's just a waste. So those are the options, but in terms of the likeliness, I would say Saudi and the US is the least likely. A outsider European club like City or someone else is next. After that, I think it's staying at PSG, and then the most likely option, I think, is Barcelona. Yes, once again, it comes with its financial obstacles, a lot of obstacles, but I do think it is the most likely destination. But once again, I want to make it very clear, I would not be surprised if, in fact, he does actually stay at PSG. Makes a U-turn like Mbappe did last year. So yeah, that's where I think he'll go. In terms of where I want him to go, have I said where I want him to go? I don't think I have. I want him to go to Barcelona, yes. I want him to have that fairy tale ending. The only thing I want for Messi's career is just two more things. Go back to Barcelona, spend the rest of your days there, help them try and win a Champions League or a La Liga, Copa del Rey, anything. And then sign off in 2026 with Barcelona. Get your send-off that you deserve. Then go to the World Cup in the US/Canada/Mexico with your final World Cup, and no matter what happens, win, lose, whatever, call it a day. That's the last thing I want for Messi. So yeah, that's what I want. Now, I want to talk about Messi and his time at PSG. A lot of rumblings, a lot of how Twitter has. Dave Chappelle, who is a comedian, he has a quote I very much like. He said that Twitter is the internet's toilet. I think it was Dave Chappelle, might be wrong, and I agree with that. And Twitter is football's toilet. Not all, there are some gems, there are some people on Twitter that I very much respect, that I follow because I value their opinions, and they come in with a sane sane mind. Which, by the way, a good football Twitter account isn't someone that I agree with. It's just someone that comes in with a logical argument with backed up results, that isn't dictated by feelings, isn't dictated by their favorite players or teams. They say it how they feel it is. Maybe I don't agree with it, but that's fine as long as you're being honest to yourself. Most of Twitter are full of people that are just dishonest. They say what they say to help their players, help the players that they love, and discredit the players that they hate. And the same goes for the teams. And with Messi, there's the people that just are against Messi who just scream he's a failure at PSG. Why a failure? Well, the main thing they bring up is his Champions League performances. Essentially not winning the Champions League. And also bringing up the fact that he hasn't scored that many goals. Statistically, his statistics aren't anything to rave about. And in his first season, he only scored 6 goals in the league. Here's the thing. Let's start with the Champions League thing. To say that a player is a failure of a signing because he didn't win the Champions League is absolutely insane. You clearly have absolutely no idea what goes into a elite footballing team. If you honestly think that one man can be the difference between a Champions League or no Champions League, you are a fool. Simply put, you are a fool, and you have been misguided, essentially. Alright? Messi did what he could. Now, there are certain performances last year against Real Madrid away from home. It wasn't a great performance. Bayern Munich was actually not that bad, but it wasn't still the classic Messi performance. But here's the thing. Neither was Mbappe's. Mbappe was also pretty bad. In fact, against Bayern Munich, he was absolutely dreadful. Messi tried things. He got on the ball, made things happen. Mbappe was atrocious. But they won't highlight that because, once again, like I said before, they see what they see. They see what they want to see. They want to see these players they hate fall and the players they love go. Bashing Mbappe does nothing for Ronaldo, so they won't mention that. Bashing Messi does a lot for Ronaldo, so they'll mention that. And I want to talk about also the statistics side of it. In his first season, he had 6 league goals only. Yes, that's not that good. But the playmaking side of it, and also this year, with the playmaking side of it last season, and also the goals and assists part of it this season, he's been absolutely insane. He is in a race right now with Haaland and Mbappe for who will finish with the most goals and assists this season. I believe Haaland is leading just about, but Messi and Mbappe are right there. Mind you, Messi is the 36-year-old in that trio, by the way. Not to mention, he just had a World Cup of a lifetime. Player of the tournament. He is 36 years old, and he just won a Player of the Tournament at a World Cup. Look, yes, it sucks that he didn't win the Champions League at PSG, and ultimately he was much better for Barcelona than he was at PSG, but he's also a lot older now for PSG than he was at Barcelona. And at Barcelona, in the years that he won, he had a much better, secure and understanding team. PSG's problem, like I said in my last Messi video, PSG's problems do not fall with the front three. Mbappe, Messi and Neymar are fantastic. It's what's behind them that's a bag of trash, okay? And I'm not going to go into detail with this, but to say Messi was a failure because he hasn't won the Champions League is ridiculous. And to go to the statistics side of it, he's the greatest playmaker we've seen in the French League, probably, with his numbers he's putting up for those seasons. So you're having a laugh here, okay? You can't expect him to carry such a team. It's not fair for anyone, okay? Especially as a 36-year-old, all right? So that's my thought on it. He's not a failure. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's insane. And also, I guess it kind of just paints a story. This man's, for example, Ronaldo didn't win a Champions League for Juventus. When Ronaldo joined Juventus, they had already won 7 leagues in a row. They were already the kings of the Serie A, and it was never questionable. They were the kings of that league. When Messi joined PSG, they had just lost it to Lille. And also, Ronaldo he never won a Champions League either. So was he a failure? No, he wasn't a failure. And in fact, Ronaldo not winning the league in his 3rd year, it's not his fault either. I'm not blaming him. I'm just giving you an example. All right. And you know what? This video's already it's gone on for far too long anyway. I'm gonna end it here. Messi is leaving PSG apparently. I do think he will leave. It's most likely, but I still won't be surprised if he does. Maybe make a U-turn. Barcelona is his likely destination. Let me know what you guys think. Where would you want to see Messi? That's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did enjoy. Please subscribe for more. If you want to follow me on my socials, it is all at the Maestro Style. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, please take care of yourselves.